Good morning, boys and girls. Here we are on the fifth and final day of Summer Showdown course critiques. We've got 4 to go through today. I thought I was going to kick things off with Elysian National by Clint Kelso, but it looks like we've got some hot new courses called Save Air, Do Not Play, and I think I want to play those instead. They might just be better. Anyway, just joking. Yeah, we're going to start off with Elysian by Clint Kelso. You guys have gotten very used to this, but for those that don't watch every stream, I got to go ahead and say it anyway. These are geared towards CC, so I will be playing with player clubs instead of tour clubs. Ordinarily, I do play with tour clubs, but it is what it is. How I play this round, my scoring, that is not indicative of the quality of the course or how it's going to be judged or whether it's appropriate for CC. Sometimes I play well, sometimes I don't. So... you know, just take it for what it is. Oftentimes it's comical. Oh yeah, and then I'm going to make comments as we go through these. The comments that I make, if there are technical issues, I'm going to point them out as technical issues. The other judges will also chime in on those when you start seeing some of their notes in your... in the threads, so they're not even like worth the debate because they're just going to be a consensus. Most comments that I make are going to be opinion only. I don't play these courses before doing the streams. These are always my first look and first impressions of what we're playing. So take them for what they're worth. I'm also a designer, you know, so I see things. If I think it can improve the playability or the looks of a certain hole or a course, I'm going to make a comment. They're not meant to offend. It's not a negative towards your course at all. They're just, you know, my mind's eye as a designer. So if you don't like them, if you feel like they're negative, just agree to disagree and go on with it, as we don't want people coming back into the course threads and raising hell about it or sending me a bunch of PMs talking about how mean, nasty, and uneducated I happen to be. Other than that, guys, we just try to have fun with these and give these courses a look and a little bit of a spotlight. So let's take a look at Elysian National. Look at some of these other Elysian courses down through here. Elysian Gardens. That's might be one I have to pull up. Probably one of those that looks great from the screenshot, but then makes you go, when you get on the course. I believe Clint said he wanted the white tees on this one, if I'm not mistaken. Let me go back and look. White tees, pin 1. Okay, white tees, pin 1. So it looks like we're ready to crank this up. It's funny you say that, man. There's a lot of good course names that you can get by checking out labels from craft breweries, for real. There's actually a lot of really cool names out there. What's up, Matt? Yeah, I'm not going to lie and say that I don't do that as well. I look at different craft brewery labels. I look at brands of e-juice for vapes. Like Five Ponds is like one of my favorite companies that makes e-juice. And thought it was a really cool name for a golf course, Five Ponds. There's just something about it I like. I like the whole chess symbolism that goes on in with it. So this is our first hole, and before I hit this, I'm going to have to take a swing. It's very hazy. I'd be careful about the amount of haze. I mean, the lighting looks cool, but if you've got clouds going on in this, it's going to get dark real fast. So it makes me wonder if there's an active volcano in the vicinity here. It's throwing throwing heat and dust up in the air. Old Rasputin is a beer. It's actually an imperial stout. That's a very yummy beer. But the more that I played around with the name, how that came about, how Rasputin came about, the old Rasputin. I had actually already I've got some of these guys already know. I've got like a big list of names. Um, the way that I come up with some of my names, or damn it, the trying to get my thoughts straight here. I keep a notebook with different whole ideas, different names, all sorts of different things. I'm very weird on stuff like that. And like when we're driving, my wife and I both travel quite a bit. As I come across things that are like subdivisions, or like there's a subdivision past past Orlando, between Orlando and Miami. I forget what town it's outside of, but it runs along the edge of the highway going down through there, and it's called Irish Acres. And what's funny is that when you look at it off to the side, it looks like that they had planned on building a residential golf course in amongst the houses there, but there's not one there. Everything is sculpted like there's a damn golf course there, but there's not. But I started thinking like, shit, man, Irish Acres, that would work as a golf course, you know? Do something that would be like an old link style course in England, Ireland, or Scotland, you know, from the British Isles, but yet put it in a setting that you would find here in the U.S., whether it be rustic or boreal or something like that. So my head just kind of spin. So sometimes that's how I go through the process of coming up with names. If I find something that I think is clever or I think I can make into a name, that's what I do. So I had already started a list of the greens at Old Blank, and most of them I was gearing around either artist or physicist and such. So like one of my ideas is the greens at Old Da Vinci. I thought that'd be a really cool name for a course. I mean, just things like that. I've been drinking Old Rasputin since it came out, and I liked it. And one night we were sitting there, and I had a friend here for on vacation, and we were sitting around, and it just kept on ringing on me. Old Rasputin, man, that would be a cool name for a freaking course. And it just kind of built from there. So I actually had that name picked out before I ever started that course. So everything I did on that course, I was trying to do to kind of make it feel like the name without it being in Russia. And my background is in Russian as well. I mean, a lot of people know I was in the military. I was actually a Russian linguist. So, hooray for 15-mile-an-hour winds. Damn it. This may not be a fun round here, guys. My swing is all over the damn place. Every other one's fast. Okay, maybe we got it dialed in there. Slow that thumb down, bitch. Until I get further up here, and then it's going to be... then it's going to be slow. That's what started happening to me last night. Not sure about the fountain out in the middle. Or the chain of fountains out in the middle. I mean, I know courses have them. I don't know how conducive these are to that look because they're so small. They don't necessarily have that look that you would get off fountains, but that's a very minor thing. It has nothing to do with judging or anything else. I got a shit ton of rocks back here, man. Good God. Fountains and rocks. Fountains and rocks. Nice clean open fairway right there. A little bit of a camber coming off right there. With your slope you have going here, I don't know that this hill is necessary or add anything. It actually probably takes a little bit away from here, Clint. You've got such a nice smooth thing going on here up to this point, and then you hill it up. But it's not like the hill started over here. I could believe that had you started the hill off the playing area and carried it out a little bit, but right there it just becomes a little bit of a distraction. So I'd probably just smooth that out and keep it going, or even lower it and create a little bit of camber from your right to left right there, and then you highlight your bunker back here just a little bit more. If you were to lower that and then raise this back here on the back a little bit, you get a little bit more depth off of it. Not that what you have is bad, but the hill right there is a little bit offsetting. I'd probably just have my high side on the right, let that slope down on the left, and that shows that bunker off a little bit better and helps frame your green complex some. I can't figure out if I like the rocks on the left there or not, but that's just a personal thing. So we're left to right. I don't know what the speeds are yet because I'm too stupid to look. 17-mile-an-hour wind, which bodes bad things. Hide and watch. I'm going to hit this with even less club than what I think I should, and I'm going to fly the frickin' pin. We've got a slope right there, so if I miss the wind a little bit with the little bit of right to left it's got going, I can hit that and it'll feed my ball down. So let's think this out a little bit. I'm really surprised that ball made it up there like that because of the wind kind of coming. I mean, sometimes this wind is weird in this game. I don't mind the wind playing with my ball quite a bit, but I like to find some consistency in it so I know what I'm doing. So 166, so he didn't overblow his greens. Oh, I gotta remember how to putt this morning, don't I? That ball didn't move. Less break in it than what I was seeing. Why does my ball look black? Solid opening hole. Okay, this pin works because it's a short distance, so we can live with that. The edge of your tee box right here is a little bit undone for what you have going for your look. So take this and start running this. Instead of having this big knob out here, run that out and smooth it out as it goes down. And that way you can see from our view right here, you see where it almost cuts off. I mean, you've maintained the integrity of your view, but it'd look a little bit better if that was sloped down. And right now it's just cutting into our vision. I mean, that's just a finishing kind of thing. And you have to be careful with the rocks. Your rock work here is laid in well. You've done a good job building that up, but because you have it right there and you don't have it extending this way, it can look a little bit blocked off if you get the idea of what I'm saying. Back there, it creates a little bit of, I don't know the best word for it. It just looks chunkier back there in the background than it does since it's not carried off in the front forward right here. We have a very bare coastline and just like this big bam rocks back there. So just a little bit, I don't know. I don't have the words for it. I know what's in my head, but okay, how much slope do we have behind here that'll help me? I don't know if that's going to help me. I don't know that I can land this with 14-mile-an-hour tailwind without leaving it short. So okay, it's going to do what I wanted it to do. I'm glad to see that. I knew it was going to go long. I didn't want to bounce it and try to play it up there, so I'm at least keeping par in play. Right to left, right off the bat with a little bit coming back here. So I'm thinking that right there might be the line. What's up, Pablo? What's up, Pablette? Clint, what the fuck is going on in the background, man? Holy shit. Is there a backstory to this one I'm missing or something? That is. Yeah, I hope you cleared off the clouds on this one. You've got cloud cover coming in. Ugh. Nuclear reactor exploded. Okay. I tell you what. I could have played that with a little bit of fade right there and probably been a better shot into it, but I'll take it. Oh, so what are we going to get this morning in the lottery of chip shots? Is this going to check up or is it going to roll out? Because I'm going to play it like it's going to roll out. I did that yesterday and everything checked up. When I played it checked up, it rolled out. Hell, man, after playing this, I sincerely hope they add gas masks to the coin shop. Don't want to breathe in all this stuff. A bad looking tee shot here. Got a little bit of the use of right to left camber coming. I'm going to assume you use splines. Be careful on leaving your edges out there like that. Just from a cleanliness issue and a finishing issue, you want to go in and try to work those a little bit. I know it's a pain in the ass and it sucks, but they do stick out. I'm assuming you use splines on these. If you use brushes, then I mean you get the point. I thought it had it look like splines as it went around because of the way it curves off and the way some of these edges stayed out as straight as they are. But either way, brushes or splines, just be careful with some of your nicks and notches in your playable areas right there. You can get away with a little bit more with light rough, but when you do it on your fairways, it sticks out. Son of a bitch, this is a long damn par 4. Woo! Damn, this becomes a really long par 4 in this wind. Okay. Something that's catching me a little bit back here is, and this is just a personal taste kind of thing, But where you're going to your tee boxes behind this hole right there where you have your land sticking out, I would try to smooth that out and run it down. I mean, I realize you got your land right up against your tee box, but there is a way to do it where you can make that slope a little bit more gentle coming off that. It looks pretty stark up behind this green right there. As you come in, it just kind of, bam. If that was a little bit more sloped off, running down into the water, it'd look a little bit more gentle, a little bit more clean. But good golly, Miss Molly. This shot here is going to suck. I don't have a better way to say it. I am not liking my prospects on this. Especially with the slope of this. I played over here and try to get the roll out. And goodness, let's try to see if we can avoid the water here. Oh shit, a slow down swing. Exactly what I did not want to have happen. You can see where I was trying to attack this hole, but I mean, it may not end up too bad, but still. I think it would have been a lot better. I'm telling you, man, Mr. Vinegar had me change those settings, and I think it fucked up my swing. I do not hit slow on my downswing that often at all, and it has been consistent since last night, since we changed that. And Doily and Summer's Eve want me to change my settings and trying to make shit look better. Goodness. I'm probably going to leave this a little bit high, but I'll take my chance. Yep, just high. I kind of felt like that was going to be the putt right there. But oh, gotcha. You're planning on using rocks there? Well, even then, it might have been a pretty stark contrast behind that as well. You got to be careful of the rocks when you do like large piles like that, because they're going to block off sections of your view as far as like where your eyeballs go. So you want to be careful what you put where and how you manipulate it. Solid shot off the tee box. This is a shorter one that I'm just going to use driver because hell, I got a 16-mile-an-hour wind. Obviously reachable with tour clubs and not a 16-mile-an-hour headwind. There's our slope going here. We got a pretty severe cant left to right across this entire green. So oh, I thought that would come back on me a little bit with a little bit of the loft. Damn it. Damn it. Oh, we got a little bit of a bender here. It didn't look like I'd be better off leaving this to the low side of this hole either, because if you look over there to my left, I mean, that's got a lot of movement in it there as well. So I did not have an easy putt here regardless. Bad looking hole. Bad looking hole at all. Probably would have brought the back side of this bunker up a little bit more, like starting about like right there and letting it run around, just like raise it by a foot, foot and a half. Probably lower this lip just a little bit. Lowering that lip will also help with this little bit of crimping you get right here. Which, I mean, it's hard to get. It's hard not to crimp when you're doing any kind of bunker work up against a texture. I know that just from experience. But you raise that up a little bit, and it gives it a little bit of depth, different depth going into this green right here. But all in all, it's very solid. What's up, Clint? Damn, nation. This wind, man. So I'm down 14. I got a feeling I'm going to land in a bunker right here, so I'm just going to play it out here this side to play safe. We are just going for par on this hole. Not going... Damn! 20-mile-an-hour headwind. Are you fucking kidding me? Well, okay. Let's see what happens. Yikesy. Yikesy. Ah. Ah, ah, ah. I don't know. I'll take that par right there all day long. With the wind coming back like that, that whole plate is shit ton tougher than it should. Good job on, well, kinda. I feel like I gotta point this out. You got like one side of it's done and one side of it not, but how come the wind's in my face on every freaking shot, man? The when you're bringing your fairway into your green complex right here, try to be really crisp on how that matches up. See how your stuff stops an angle right there. Go ahead and keep cutting that out. I used a very small straight edge brush on that, but just kind of bring that around and make your fairway cut seamlessly into your green right there. It's just a clean finishing look. It'd also be nice to have a little more depth on your bunkers right here. You've done a good job on sculpting them as far as like getting your base and everything set, but like on this bunker right here, don't be afraid to have your low side here and where you've mounted up on the back. I would actually raise this a little bit more. I'd be a little bit more exaggerated on my hill here on the back of this, but bring this level of pan into your bunker. Even with it being a fairway bunker, you've got a shallow one here if somebody misses it, but go ahead and bring that in and have that a little bit deeper back here in this corner right there. Creates a pretty nice dynamic look. Especially since it's not overly playable, not with player clubs off this tee box. It might be more in play off the back tee box. But if you do that on these, you give it more of a 3D effect off the tee box. You give these a lot more depth. And I mean, you can always make the argument of like, well, on a real golf course, fairway bunkers are going to be pretty shallow and la-da-da. Well, yeah, true. But there are fairway bunkers that aren't so shallow as well. So part of that is just aesthetics and give it a particular look, especially in areas where you don't think people are going to necessarily hit the ball. So like on this bunker, you can keep it shallow on this level right here all the way through this side, and it looks good. What you're going to do by bringing that back corner in on this same level is you're going to give it a lot of depth, Once again, it gives a 3D effect, creates nice depth, but you're also going to give more accent to this little cut in you have coming in right there. So as it comes around, you create a really nice ridge line up against that edge of the bunker, and it comes in. So, I mean, you don't necessarily have to keep it the same depth as, or, level that you have right here, but try to give it a little bit more depth in the areas that you're cutting off. I mean, that's part of the fingers. That's kind of how fingers play, especially when you're hilling them off like that. So that's just a personal preference. I haven't figured out if I like the haze or not. I mean, it doesn't affect anything as far as playability and all that. I mean, that's definitely a artistic license. I'm going for something on that. I have no chance at all getting that up there. So let's just be smart about what we do here. Well, okay, I have a chance to get it up there. I did not think I would reach that surface. I thought it was going to be a lot lower than that right there. I mean, it's a fucking 16-mile-an-hour wind. That one should have checked up, but nope. It ran out on me. Oh well, I'm going to give myself a lot harder putt than what I should have here. I mean, greens are pretty tame, so I don't have any problems with those for the most part. Man, I can't tell if there's more break in that than what I'm seeing or not. I'm going to putt it from here. But with the way the bead was running, it made it look like there's a lot more break than what there really was. Shit, I don't know. I talked about bunkers for about 25 minutes right there, but I didn't have a problem on anything else. I was just talking about some of your bunker depth, that when you're going in, of not being afraid that when you put a hill behind your bunker, of extending where your shallow areas are, extending that same plane into the recesses of your bunker, just to give it a more 3D dynamic effect. But I don't know that you have one on this hole. Okay, yeah, we can do it. Not a bad looking shot there. So what I was talking about is, like, say, like on this bunker right here, where you've created and you've pretty much done it, what I was talking about on this one. Oh, yeah, no. Hell, man, I don't even remember what I say half the time on this. I'm moving from point to point and, like, looking at shit half the time, so... I just think the bunk or your greens are pretty well sculpted, so no issues on the greens at this point. Another long par 4, some bitch. I somehow have a feeling that Clint did not build this for CC. Clint built this shit for the upper tours and just gave me a pin that would work for CC. God damn, man, this is like 2 par 4s, 490 or above. Kid's giving me some distance. Because of that pin position, I can actually let this move further to the left, so I don't want to get out there. Let it hit right here, move over to the left-hand side of that fairway, so I have a little bit better angle into that pin than playing it from the right. Which is still going to suck because it's a 15-mile-an-hour crosswind, so I'm really not going to be able to get in on this pin at all. I don't give a shit if it plays a little shorter than it looks or not. It's still a 490-yard par 4, man. You dealing with these winds, that shit's important. Yeah, holy shit. If this pin was on the left-hand side, I'd eat this up. But 19 mile an hour, not even crosswind. Yeah, this is going to blow donkey balls. This is going to blow donkey balls. I don't give a shit about a fast swing right there. It doesn't matter. This is just figure out where the ball's going to land and play the next shot. Are you fucking kidding me? What an unlucky bounce that was. Stay on the green. For God's sake, just please stay on the green so I can just completely have something jacked up. Good fucking Lord. Too much. Too much. I hit that too hard. Thank God that one checked up, even though it was running downhill for no particular reason. Jeez. Yeah, that has nothing to do with the design at all. The pin location. I mean, you can't help the wind on that, but with that kind of wind into that pin right there, there was no way for me to do shit with it. So I kind of figured it was going to go to the left. My hope was it was going to be off to the left, just off the putting surface, so I didn't have to worry about the sloping and all that, and I could chip it in and have a easy par putt. But the fast swing kind of got me, and the kick that came back on it was great. That just would have been awesome had it came back out. Interesting use of this bridge. I've played around with this bridge a little bit. Couldn't figure out if I wanted to use it or not. I like the idea behind it, but of course that funky shape. This is a cool looking tee shot here, Clint. I like it. I like where you got the bunkers laid in right there. Be careful with how your edges fall off your surface right here, though. I mean, these aren't bad, but you're getting really close to it being bad. You don't want that too sloped coming back down off there. So, yeah, I finally get one with the tailwind, and it's not the shot I want with the tailwind. Well, I mean, it's a 486-yard par 4, so there is that. Let me guess, this one plays shorter than it looks. Oh, fuck. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay. Whew. I must have just barely been fast on that one then. Yeah, bunkers take time. And I mean, honestly, to a large degree, you're still a newer designer. I mean, it's not like you came into the game a long time ago and have had a couple of seasons of doing this to put it all together. So I think you're way ahead of the game from where a lot of people were. You do some good things. And you say it plays shorter. I got the same fucking shot that I had on the blast hole. Same distance and everything. But try to convince me that this shit plays shorter. It's a 480-yard par 4. Yeah, fucking freak. Okay, so on this one right here, what if we, on this bunker right here, make this side lower? This is too high on this front side. I like your angle over here. I like this right here. Let your elevated area be from right here, back around this back side to about right here, and then start lowering it down and make this lower as it comes in. It would show it off a lot better. You see where you just got like a sliver of it? I mean, it's good that you're showing the bunker so TST players and everybody else so we can actually see it. But if you lower that front edge right there, you get a lot different depth going into that green. It actually helps your green complex quite a bit, in my opinion. Okay, we got a little bit of the hill right there. It'll help some with this wind. However, coming off of it, you got a lot of left to right coming off. So, I'd be pretty careful with a lot of my extreme sloping here with this kind of distance. This you have over here to the left is okay because it feeds, but You still got a really steady flow coming off of there. And once again, I realize that you're planning this more for Euro and PGA, but even then, you want to be careful how you make people play long shots in. Damn. That's all I can do with it right there. That was online and on target. But see, this is what I'm talking about. I'm not even if you're talking about professional tours, I don't like punishing good shots, man. It's one thing to protect par, it's another thing to inflict double punishment. So you already got a 180-yard shot. It's not like this is 120 yards, and that was a pretty damn good shot. I just hit into that. I played everything that you gave me there. I played the wind. I played the left to right that you have going there, and everything pushes me away from a legitimate putt. So just be careful on that one. Ah. Oh, that was hole number 9. No wonder I had a fast downswing. Yeah, this is one where you could have used some depth. Once again, I understand it's a fairway bunker, so it's not necessarily wrong what you have right here because it's going to play more shallow. This is a little bit wonky coming up here. So how I do these is, I mean, I think you've seen me do bunkers before, but come in with one of your flat edges, put it about a yard inside your bunker lip right there, hold down on your button, and just run it all along the inside of your lip, all the way around. Keep holding it, and then come back in and do the inner areas and everything else. I think you'll be surprised how that looks, because if this is flat up here at this current depth, and then it gets deeper as it goes up here, and you show that edge off, that becomes a really cool looking bunker. So just food for thought. Yeah, a little bit of fine tuning on the bunkers. Good looking hole right here. Other than that, I like the layout. I like the flow to it. I mean, I like the flow of the course. It's been a good, solid course. So I haven't really had a lot of other things to point out as, hey man, this is a fuck up. But I mean, just a few of the things I'm pointing out here and there would fix a lot of that. I mean, it's just fine tuning things. So we've got a little bit of slope back there. So if I did choose to go long, could get some help. But more than likely, what's going to happen is my ball is going to go up there and stick on that, stick on that back. So. Whew. Careful with your slope right here, kid. Be careful with that sculpting right there. It may only be from this angle. I think if I was below the hole, that wouldn't show up as yellow, but you get what I'm going at on this right here. Just be careful with it. So that means I do not want to miss this with any kind of speed and it running to the left. So we're going to be a little more gentle with this putt. Yeah, there's no room for error on that one. I mean, it's not like I killed that putt or anything, so, I mean, I realize it's a shorter hole, but damn. So, this is, I mean, I can't play this hole any better. That's 9 feet with that was 19-mile-an-hour crosswind that I had hitting into that and landed it that close. And on the other side, this is shit. I mean, this is manufactured bogey right here. Yeah, more depth on your bunker here to the right of your green. It's not bad looking right there. I'd practice around with these circle bunkers a little bit. Bring this as a flat edge. You want this, you don't want to mess with this at all, but just bring your flatten brush in and stop it about 2/3 of the way through the circle, and that's going to create you a more natural looking lip up against that back edge. That way you have a flat pan bottom going up into that point, and then it goes in the back ledge right there, and it looks a little bit more realistic. You definitely need depth on this. This one's missing the mark just a little bit just because of the way it slopes and everything else. So you need to have a little bit more contour from your front to your back right here. That just plays off as a wall of sand. It's par 5. Well, I'm not picking up much of a water table fuck up unless you're saying that the water table messed with your bunker right here. I mean, this is the biggest distraction on this hole. Everything else on it's fine. This bunker right here just feels unfinished, and I don't know if that was what your water table was or not, if that's what you're referring to. But everything else I think looks okay, man. I don't have issues with any of that. Oh yeah, well, I'm not getting into a lot of the non-playable areas. I mean, it's just what I see with my eyeballs from the playing surface. I tend to focus on. If you guys have noticed, I'm not spending a lot of time. Oh, I see you right here. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's something we'd pick up when we start going through here and like really combing through hole by hole. But just from an initial play, it's not something that just grabs me and flips me the finger or anything. So, fun contour right there. I actually did mean to play it into that side by the wind and everything else. I was trying to play it to that right side so I could kind of use the slope coming down off the front and then the left to right that was coming down there to feed my ball. I didn't think I was going to tuck it in there, but thought I was going to be a little bit short of it on the back side of that hill, but that'll work. That'll work. Short par 4. You know what, man? With this being such a short hole, I would have been very tempted to bring my water in closer to my playable area right here. And this is only 359 yards, so it's not like this is like a shrinky-dink area. Now, that being said, you have to watch your camber. Given this style of course, you want to be a little bit smoother in your contouring right here off this hill. Just bring your round soft fuzzy brush and let that be a gentle slope down. And if you want to kind of bring it back up, that's fine, but let it be more gentle with this, probably just a little bit lower. And be careful about your camber on this left to right, but I would still on a short hole be very tempted to bring this water more into play. Of course, I'm saying that without hitting the shot, so my ball bounces and kicks over there in the grass. Then nope, that played out smooth. Yeah, I would have brought my water in a little bit tighter to my edge right there. But that's just me. See, I can see where you've got a tier here. I would have been very tempted to create another tier back over here in this corner. I mean, with it being a shorter hole, you can be a little bit more aggressive with your contouring on this one. I like the tier you have right here. You probably even could have exaggerated it just a little bit more along this edge. But I would have done something back over here. Either lower it down below this middle tier or make it higher. Probably would have lowered it off just a little bit, just because of the flow you have coming back over here, and it creates a little bit different shot. I don't mind creating a little bit of danger on this one with the distance. Hey, guess what? There's a 17-mile-an-hour wind blowing back in my face on that shot. I was not hitting a pitch shot. I was hitting a straight shot. So that is me being completely fucking stupid and not paying attention to what I'm doing. God, that was dumb. Spin back. Come on. Come on. Of course not. 27 feet, 5 feet uphill into a 17-mile-an-hour wind. I flew that by 5 fucking yards. Okay. Well, this is a well-earned bogey on my part right here. Tell you what, it looks like that's got more left to right than what I'm seeing right there. But man, it's par save right there. That was a trickier putt. There's a lot more left to right break in that than what it shows. That is not straight at all. Hanging on to par by the skin of my teeth on a few of these, ain't I? I may have missed it by feel, but it seems like all my par fours are either really fucking long or really fucking short. I don't feel like I've got any of those. Well, of course, this doesn't show distances, but same way. From the whites, we got 418 off the front, 490, 494, 486. 471. Finally get one at 416, 489, 421. I mean, like I said, just as you're playing through your round and everything else, it just feels like it's either really short or really long. Once again, I completely get that you're going for a course that was really not meant to play on CC. This is more designed for upper end tours, but you got to be careful with your distances, man. It's just like dragging them all completely out like that. I mean, that's just... You need to have 1 or 2 holes per round that are par 4s over 470 yards, not just a steady stream of them. I mean, you do have some different distances moved in, but it just seems like it's one or the other. Like I'm not getting a break from playing some of the other clubs in my bag. Thank God I got a 17-mile-an-hour crosswind in a tight landing area. I mean, it wasn't a straight crosswind, but it was enough to blow me completely left to right off there. So I would have had to aim out in the woods to get that out there. It's well, I mean, you kind of get my point. I'm not like bitching or complaining or saying it's bad or anything, but you get the idea of where I'm going at with that. Well, this is a bogey coming up here, fellas. Nothing I can do about this one. I mean, in this wind, I can't take 3-wood off the tee right there. It's a pretty tight landing area for this length of hole, especially for CC. And obviously, with any kind of wind you see right there, completely different thing because that wind, that angle off the tee box, I mean, I was aimed on the other side of the damn fairway right there and still blew back across that bunker, so... Yeah, Taco, if you, if you go into the CC section of the tours on TGC Tours on the board there, I update the schedule. So the first 4 of the first 5 tournaments, we just had an extra week added on us, so I'm getting that stuff rangered now. But I list every week what the course is, the name of the event you're playing, and which tees and pins are going to be used. The pins are always going to be 1 through 4, but it will list the tees. They're going to be up there as well. Okay, so I'm going to pitch this and not do it, so I don't have to play the wind out as much as I did on that last hole, being stupid. As a matter of fact, just completely fucking ignore the wind if you're going to pitch it in. Don't want to. So, yeah, they're all listed on the board there. Just go into, I think it's the 3rd column down where it has tours, PGA, Euro, Web, and then CC, and then TST is underneath that. And inside the CC thread, if you look down there, there's a stickied header right there that says CC Pro schedule and then CC AM schedule. All the information you need is right there. Everything else is secret. Same thing we've been talking about in this bunker right here, Clint. Use your backside, extend your hill that you have going right here, extend it out a little bit further around here, and pull that backside up. And then let your front edge right here be your depth setter, and carry it through there and flatten it out. That'll give you a really nice, cool look towards the back of your bunker right there. And I'll probably lower this front side just a little bit. I mean, it's not bad having that ridge right there because of the way it enters into that bunker. But you make that one look a little bit cleaner. It just looks off from the tee for some reason. It's just because of the angling that's on there. Oh shit, 16-mile-an-hour crosswind. Oorah. Yeah. I'd say more importantly, man, I would just get in the designer, just messing around and plant you some shapes out and just mess around with different techniques of sculpting on your bunkers and how they fit into different elevations and terrains. 'Cause that's the only thing lacking in a lot of what you got going on right here is just finishing off some of the fine details. And it's only something you're going to get from experience. That's the only way to go around it. See, like you started a really nice ridge right here. This bunker actually looks better up close than it does from a distance. So I'm going to take back what I was going to say about it right there. So that's not bad at all. I don't like it being hidden. I mean, now that being said, you haven't had a lot of blind shots. So it's not bad to have blind shots on courses. I am not an anti-blind shot kind of guy. But I like it to fit the hole or the shot or what we're doing on certain things. For this particular one, I don't think it helps your hole any at all. But nothing technically wrong with what you've done right here because they do exist. But I think you could have benefited from a raised green complex or a lower hill right there. That's just my opinion, and that's just something I get locked into as a designer. I like using my bunkers to frame my shots and all that. I don't go a lot for blind shots. That being said, I do have a current course that does have blind shots on it, but there's no bunkers or anything in play behind it. It's just using hills flowing down into valleys, kind of deal. But damn. I shouldn't have lofted that, should I? I was afraid with that not being a straight downwind that it was going to fuck me over, but yeah, all in all, with the exception of that one green that I pointed out, your greens have been pretty nice. They definitely got some play in them. There's some putts that are not very easy. Oh, great googity moogity. Would have liked this a little bit better if this green was elevated. Falls just a little bit flat because of the surrounding terrain and everything else. Raise this up by about 5 feet, man. That's like really cool looking, especially that bunker there on the front. Just my opinion. Son of a bitch. Okay, make up your mind, wind. Nothing extreme about this green, but There's movement in it. You want to be very careful with having your areas like this back here where it's completely raised and falling off. I mean, I can see where you're going to put a pin on that, but you don't necessarily want to have it like right on top of the hill. So just be careful. This is going to sound negative, and I don't mean it to sound negative. It's just something that I get as I feel when I start playing everything else. But we've hit a stretch of holes here that everything feels like it's just falling a little bit flat. It's like we were built up coming up to about hole 14 that we've got a flow, everything's going, and all of a sudden we just kind of hit a part of the course. Like we either ran out of time to finish off what we were looking for, or we were losing some of our inspiration, or well, it's hard to say. Your little hill in front of your tee box definitely is not helping you out right here. I'd let that be a lot smoother coming off and lower. That way you can get a look in there. That doesn't do a lot for me. Shaping here on this bunker, like how it fits in right here, isn't bad. I probably would have rounded this off a little bit more and created an actual hook coming in and then back out. A little bit different shape, so but that's just a personal preference. Definitely would have rounded this off up into this curve right here. You've got such a nice clean curve going on with your fairway that the way you've chosen to lay this bunker in right there, it throws off that from that symmetry. That's a little bit jarring, but these are all like very minor things. Oh look, a long par 4. You definitely want to be careful with the shape of this green just because of the way it's back here. With this distance, throwing a pin back here, well, this is a par 5, so never mind. I take back everything I said. I thought that was a par 4, so fuck me, dude. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I'm an asshole. Yeah, I just saw it. So ignore everything I just fucking said. Oh, I was hoping to bounce that a little bit shorter than that. I did not want that kind of rollout. Yeah, it works okay as a par 5 because it brings that risk reward into it. For some reason, I thought it was the traditional Clint Kelso par 4. And I was going to be like, man, for a second shot right there, you got to be careful. No, I can live with that. I mean, people pick and choose how they want to play that back pin location on a par 5. No problem for me on that. I should have had that putt. I know there's a lot of break in right there, but I should have had that. I'm not going to lie. I'm not totally unhappy with how I'm playing right now, given that these winds have been 15 miles an hour plus the entire round. And most of them not working to my advantage. This has been an exercise in course management, and a couple just got really fucking lucky kind of pars. So everything's going to push me left to right. Tight landing area coming in where I need to place the ball. I ain't shit subtle about it, man. I can look right here and tell you that ain't subtle. There's a lot of movement right there. Nothing wrong with the green complex. Just be careful with it. I mean, it's a longer par 3, so you got to keep in mind the clubs people are going to have to play into this, and you know where they're going to play it. There's a lot of right to left. I only say that because, like, where your pins are, especially like over here to the right, you've got a very narrow landing area for this club given the rollout. It's running downhill from there, so it's really not going to stop. And the further it goes, the more it starts pushing. I mean, the natural thing that's going to happen is it's going to push this ball damn near off the green going this direction. You're going to stick us out here in no man's land out there in the corner. And that works for PGA and Euro, I suppose, but you got to be careful from a CC standpoint. Fuck me. I don't know how I'm going to play this one either. Carefully. Yeah, no, I don't take what I'm saying wrong. I mean, but it's like that shot right there. I mean, I just with the only way I had to play that in, that's just kind of illustrating my point of where it's going to push the ball. I'm not saying it's hard or tricked out or anything at all. It's more for not necessarily this course, but just thinking about it in future designs. Be careful in your concept. Like when you start planning out your greens, so like, okay, I want to put a pin here and I want to put a pin here. Really think about where it's going to push the ball and make it move. So I had no doubt I was going to be over here in this area. That's what I was pointing out. I'm kind of surprised I stopped it there, but that would be my only thing about the par 4s is that it kind of makes it feel like that when you're going through planning things out that you didn't necessarily stop and think that, okay, I've got a lot of short ones, I got a lot of long ones, I don't have some of the mid-range ones. But that's a very minor thing, Clint. I mean, it's just only because a lot of these long ones on your par 4s, the more you have, the more it sticks in a person's head subconsciously, like, damn, there's a lot of long ones on here. That's why I made the comment I did when I did. Is like, man, it seems like I got two extremes. Either got really long ones or really short ones. He's not making me play any of my mid irons at all coming in on these. So that was the only reason I brought it up. It has no bearing on how this is judged or how it's scored or my score or anything else. It's just one of those, like, as you're evolving as a designer, keep these things in mind. Really think about where the ball is going to be played from different angles and where the ball is going to move to and whether or not it's fair. And like I said, I'm under no illusion that you didn't have this in mind for upper tours versus CC. The elements I'm seeing is like, okay, this is going to play higher end web, PGA or Euro, and I'm going to fit tee boxes in that can make this play to CC. So the unfortunately, I can't judge it based on that. I only have to look from this standpoint. But there's been nothing at all that I've played yet that makes me think this couldn't be on CC Pro. I mean, CCM's not going to play this course anytime soon, but I don't see where CC Pro couldn't handle this for a tougher week. Okay, I have got a woolly booger of a putt here. With it being 24 feet, I'm going to kill some of that. I'm going to miss that really high on that line. So, we're saying about right in there. If I just try to be easy with it. Nope, I didn't hit it hard enough. I didn't play the break. No, these greens aren't unmanageable. It would depend. For CC, it's gonna. These greens will depend on the wind. CC playing in the winds I'm playing in right now are going to bitch and moan about it all week. You, without a doubt, because you have pin placements that the contouring of the green works against the way the wind is predominantly coming in. But that's the wind. I see where you were going for on your stuff, but when you start pulling your pins close to the edges of greens or you start giving tighter landing areas, make damn sure you keep in mind where that ball is going to move to if you know for a fact it's going to consistently be played long. And you at least want to give people a safe place, a bailout saying, okay, this is course management. I'm not going to birdie this. I'm not going for birdie on this. Where can I put my ball that at least leaves me 2 putts on this green? And you flirt with it a little bit on that particular hole. Oh, the green tees. I get you. So I mean, you're not bad on your design right here. You've got some good, strong things going for it. It's most everything that I'm pointing out to you right now is, I mean, like I said, it's easy to forget because you've been in the last few contests and you're putting courses out and everything else. But I still chalk you up to being relatively new, in the design game. So you're doing a lot of things very, very well. No way I would take that away from you. What we're talking about now are what I consider to be more advanced concepts in course design. It's finishing things off. It's getting very clean, crisp techniques in, and it's thinking about the physics, especially in this game versus one, of how a golf course flows and where it needs to play. And this bunker here on the left is throwing me off a little bit just because, I mean, it serves a purpose, but I don't know. It's kind of weird. Something needs to happen over here. Personally, I would have thought about adjusting my fairway a little bit on this. If your landing area is going to be right in here in this area, cut your, I just changed my swing. Cut your fairway back off this corner instead of extending it a long ways down this side. Cut this corner and bring your flow back this direction. You see where I'm going with it right here? Now we've got a right to left moving fairway off the tee right here, and I can bring this bunker, instead of having a bunker here, pull your water closer in. Let your water be the hazard, and let your bunker play up here in front, and let it be like a longer waist bunker that plays out in front of this. And think about it from that standpoint, what you create on that, especially if you've hilled this area up, and you can actually embed that bunker into the side of your hill right here to where you're playing over the top of the bunker, even though it's not necessarily in play off the tee, you're hitting over the top of it into that area, and that just creates a different flow. Coming in right there. I get it being a safety bunker, but it's different with the flow of what you've got going on here. So like I said, playing this fairway off with a little bit more of a dogleg look coming from this side of it, it's really not going to affect your playability at all when it comes into it, but you can create an entirely different look right there that looks really killer off the tee, especially if you exaggerate any of the mounding coming off of it and let it play underneath. But that's just a design thing that when I look at it, what pops into my head as a designer, how I would kind of build into it. I recognize I have different styles. We all have different styles, so I'm just pointing out a different idea behind it. Well, we may test that safety bunker out. Oh, fuck me. Let's kill a good round right here. Yep. Just kill it. However, Best drop I've ever had by going in the water in this game right there. I think that might be the first time I'm actually on a playable surface. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. uh You know what? I think that was a pretty goddamn good shot right there. So I'm just saying, it's not the most desirable putt for par right here, but that was a pretty damn good shot. I don't know with that kind of lie that I'm going to get that much closer, you know? Nah, I underhit it. If I hit that just a little bit firmer, I might have had the line, but then again, if I miss it, I'm off the green. So, shit. I should have been smart and just played for bogey on that instead of going for that putt trying to save par. This is going to be costly. Yep. Yep. One of the ones that shows break with no break. And like pan out behind it to look at it. So minus my play on the final hole. It's a good solid course, Clint. I mean, like I said, a lot of the things that I'm bringing up are things I consider to be advanced design techniques, you know, of finishing and all that. But okay. But well, I'll tell you what, Taco, the way you played Rasputin, when I watched your playthrough that one night, you're not going to have a problem starting out on web or Euro, believe me. You didn't play that like a CC player. Anyway, what I was going to say is that, you know, it looks like I point things out, you know, that might be tic-tac or this and that, but it's all about finishing, and you've established a bar. As to what you can do on this. So it doesn't do me any good not to point certain things out or to give opinions here and there and just say, you know what, that's nice. Because if I do that, you're not growing as a designer. Then you're just under the assumption of like, okay, everybody thinks what I do is great, you know, and I've got this look going. You never take a step forward. So a lot of the things that I'm pointing out are things that you know, as you go forward, it's things to consider and make a little bit cleaner, and that way you just keep on stepping up, and you go from a solid designer to a great designer to an elite designer. But it comes in phases. You're not going to do it on your first course. You're not going to do it on your first 4 or 5 courses. I mean, there's a lot of people that think that I've only built like 3 or 4 golf courses, period. People will be shocked at the amount of time I've spent in the designer since I picked up the first game. Just because I don't publish a lot does not mean I haven't done a lot of work in the designer. I've got courses you guys have never heard of and will never ever see that I did before I even did my first publish, you know, on it. So, but to me, this is kind of how we grow, is that you take comments that I might say, not that I know everything or even that what I say is valid or good, but you take different comments and you take what Reeb has to say and you take what like Aces has to say. I mean, he can be abrupt, but the dude knows how to, you know, get the flow on a golf course. He does pretty solid work. Look at what people like Scarpacci and Seth, and I mean, these are all guys that know their way around a designer. And while we all may have different styles and we may have different ways of going about things, we're typically going to give you nuggets that, if not on this course, may work for another, or things that give you a bigger picture of where to start looking on your courses, especially from not thinking about your course being separate elements. You know, it's not your green, your fairway, and your tee box, and then your surroundings. Every hole is a big picture. It's a painting, man. It's a piece of art, and they all have to blend. They all have to work. They all have to feed off of each other. If one of those elements all of a sudden is different than the other elements, or in contrast to that, oftentimes it makes things look muddy or disconnected. So, I mean, when you're planning a hole out, you've got to think about how everything, starting from the tee box and finishing at the green, how everything works in flow and in a pattern to accomplish the effect you're trying to go for as an artist. And that's really what we are. We're artists. You know, we're doing golf course design, but at the end of the day, we are artists in our own right. So anyway, I'm getting very overwinded and philosophical on what's going on. Good solid course. Definitely going to be a tour course at some point. So very much appreciate the effort on this. And guys, I'm going to take about a 5-10 minute break on this, get this uploaded and exported off to YouTube, and I will be back with the next one.